Welcome to episode 4 of Lost and Lazy. We have lost two members on this intrepid, intrepid, intrepid,
Intrepid.
intrepid crew.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Less people to feed. Sorry, everybody.
They got two
Yep.
lost and lazy. Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
We
they got two.
lost
They
and
got
lazy.
two lost and lazy. So Adam could not make it tonight. He is hanging out and just didn't feel like it. And Sean didn't really want to talk about the topics tonight. So,
Fair
yeah.
enough. That's why we have a lot of people to do it, so that way people can come and go.
Yeah, pretty much. It is a chill podcast, not a or leisure podcast. What I think I said before. So, yeah,
It's
Let's
a lazy
just-
podcast.
yeah, it's a lazy
Yeah.
podcast. I am feeling pretty freaking lazy today. Let's start with Waz. What have you been doing this week?
Honestly, not too much. Just been kind of dealing with work. I hadn't been online for a while. I think I told you guys earlier, I had to give that presentation on Wednesday to 120 people at my job, and that was not fun and gave me major social anxiety. So once Wednesday was over, I was just like done. That's why I started getting online all the time. But pretty much I've just been hopping online with you. Been helping you, Josh, out with some stuff for the channel, and we're going to continue doing that, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to more stuff with that. And we'll probably gonna work on some mixing after this podcast is over as well. So
Yeah, more than likely. All right. Nice, dude. Nice. Brad, what have you been up to?
What have I been doing? Oh, all kinds of stuff. Actually not really. I've been playing Tarkov. Some days now.
Trying to play Tarkov.
Yeah. And I think that's all I've played this week. I haven't been on Assassin's Creed. I did download House Flipper, the second one. Almost played last night, but I got too tired. And then, because I'm playing Tarkov, and then I got off. But yeah, Tarkov, working. That's it. Hanging out with you. Hanging out with Waz.
Heck yeah.
Hanging out with everybody.
Stay away from Tarkov. That shit's not good for you. It's not good for you.
Yeah, that's what Adam's been doing, playing Tarkov. He's also probably playing some other stuff, but yeah, they're all freaking addicted to that game.
Escape the Backrooms too. Don't forget to talk about that, Josh. You want to talk about it.
I haven't talked about what I played yet. So give it a second, okay? Give it a second.
I did. You haven't mentioned it yet. It needs to be mentioned now.
It wasn't even my turn yet.
Oh, it's your turn now. Go.
Okay. Well, I have been playing Persona 3, still trying to get through it. I showed Waz a little bit of it, and he was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Oh, I was pretty lost.
Yeah. I also have been playing Lake, which is you're a male person, male woman, whatever you want to call it. You're a mailman
simulator.
Yeah, the mailman simulator one, which is funny because I am an actual mailman. And so even the people in my work, when I told them that I told them about it, they were like, "Why are you doing your job on a video game?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's fun. I like the music.
Need their mail.
Yeah, no. The people need their mail around the lake, and I am here to give it to them.
I just love my job so much. I want to do it in the game too.
Yeah, so I just love the post office so much that I have to do it in gaming also. Other than that, I'm still recording a little bit of Prince of Persia on as fast as I can. But yeah, I'm not the best at editing, so there's that. And other than that, I played.
You're editing, but you're busy.
Yeah,
so it takes you a little bit of time.
A lot has been going on lately with
and you don't
real
enjoy
life.
You don't enjoy it a lot, like with the video editing stuff. That's a massive problem too, dude. Like that makes it really hard to like do the editing, like if you're not enjoying it at all.
Yeah, I definitely don't enjoy it, but I also don't want to spend $150 an hour for somebody to edit my videos. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, wouldn't charge you anything. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you said that you can't keep up with the.
Yeah, with the way you upload like crazy, dude. You got so many videos
I
coming out every single day that
I
I
know
would not
because
be
he
able to keep
works
up with that.
on multiple
I
videos at
actually
once, which is
don't
really
have
impressive.
that many videos that come out. It just seems like I do.
You have a video come out every day, almost.
I could do like one. You could pick like one video, like if you do like I said those top 10, or you do like reviews or something like that. I could probably do one video a week, but like that would be from where I work and stuff. That would probably be. And then
Yeah.
your gameplay, and then your let's plays could just be in their raw format, like they are.
Yeah,
now.
no, I'm not worried. That's why I did the 30-minute thing, is because then that's easier for me. I don't have to edit the video. It's just 30 minutes of gameplay. If I went back and started doing like, like 4 hours, then I would have to scrub through, edit everything. But like with the 30-minute way that I've been doing it, it's not too bad. And I just kind of make sure that I'm like moving forward the entire time. But that's also probably why I don't get as many views, because it literally is like a full playthrough of me just bullshitting around. But it's whatever. Eventually,
Well,
I'll
I mean
either.
that's what let's plays are, dude. I mean that's what they are. It's the experience of what you're playing.
Yeah, and I don't do it to like get views or whatever. Like it really doesn't matter, because like I'm just doing it for the fun of it.
He does it
Yeah.
for the gram.
Huh?
You do it for the gram.
What does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Tell you later.
I do it just because like
Okay, boomer.
I have.
I'm
Okay.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Because I just have fun sharing stuff that I love. That's the reason why we're doing the podcast. It's the reason why I'm doing the Let's Play still. I'm trying not to do too many big games this year that are like super, super long, because I did Boulder's Gate last year, and that one was a mistake. It was 144 episodes. It was
They're still coming out. They're still coming out too, aren't they?
till April every day. Till
Yep.
April.
Yeah, so you're gonna have well over 200 episodes.
I have over 400 episodes, and most of them are from the last like year and a half.
That's why. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But like I said, it seems like a lot of videos, but a lot of videos I just hold on to, and then I like bring out. I try and do like 3 episodes a week, which is about an hour and a half of video. But I only bring out stuff once. Like I was doing a lot when I first started. I was doing like a bunch of games at once. Now, like, perfect example, I'm doing Lake. I do one day of Lake, and that's the video. Like whether it's 20 minutes or whether it's 30 minutes or 32 minutes, that's the video. Like one full day. So there's not really a lot to edit. It's mainly my problem is the audio. I just with DaVinci, I do the audio the best I can, but I don't know if it's like that great. It could probably be better, but I'm still super new at editing, and I don't have an actual program. I just have a free program that I use, and I edit the audio the way that I can, to where it's not like reddening it out, but also it's not lower than the game setting.
Yeah. A lot of people like the hardcore editing. I was gonna say I don't really know DaVinci that well, so I don't really know what DaVinci offers for audio editing. But I mean, Premiere Pro like has audio editing too. But typically, what a lot of people do is they'll separate the audio from the video, and then doctor the audio separately, and then re-import it and relink it to the video in an actual like audio program. So like Adobe has like it's like called Adobe Audition, I think, which is just for like editing, because you have so many different tools to do that. I mean, for me, I would use FL Studio, because even though it's for making music, there's just so much stuff that's there for editing audio.
Yeah.
So like we could probably. I'm sure there's probably in DaVinci there's a way to unlink audio, and you could. Just
my audio is separate. My recorder does audio separate from the video game.
Oh, okay, well, then that's even easier. You can just because then you can just import it. I could just import it and just edit it.
Well, I have so the video game audio is one thing, and then my audio is the other. But it's still like with DaVinci, like so DaVinci has a thing where you can click on it and then it does what it's supposed to scale for YouTube. It even says like it scales for YouTube, but every time I've done it, the audios end up being the same and one blast out the other one. Like they're not even. Cuz like sometimes when I record at night, it's I have to talk kind of low cuz Brand's asleep. So like I turn up my mic, but I talk softer so I don't wake her up. So sometimes, my voice is lower and yeah, it just depends, but it's a weird thing.
I'd set it up too, because a lot of people do it very subtly. I don't know if it's actually called audio dimming. I'm not really sure, but obviously, like you want your voice to cut through most of the time, not be necessarily blow out the game audio. But one thing you could do is have your voice just be like slightly louder, and then you can set it up to where when you actually are talking and your voice comes in, it actually dips the game audio a little bit. It diminishes it. Just
Yeah, see, and I
we can set it
wouldn't
up.
yeah, I wouldn't know how to do that. Mainly what I do is I just make sure that for the most part the game audio is slightly lower than my voice.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And
that's I can we could do that. I might even see if there's a way to do it like in Audacity, so that
yeah.
way, and then that way if I could figure it out, that way you could use that too, and that way like if for some reason I couldn't do it, then you could just do it yourself in Audacity without having to use like FL Studio isn't cheap, so like
Yeah,
that's
the only problem I have with using Audacity and my recorder at the same time, which is the one that you told me to buy, is
yeah,
then it becomes an issue of okay, how do I press record on both of these at the same time so it starts so I'm not
right.
off kilter from what. But I mean, I guess I'm not showing my face, so that could be easier, I guess. I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
But I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it not being exactly aligned. I mean, that's what post is for. You'll just have to line it up and play around with it in post, which I know you probably don't really like to do. But I mean,
No, yeah, that's my like whole thing is I'd rather just be able to have something I can just put them into and it just automatically like fixes the audio for me. Like that's what I wish they had and they probably do somewhere out there, but I just don't have the time to look for it. I'm doing like 4 or 5 games right now. I'm doing a podcast. I work 40 plus hours a week. I
yeah,
don't.
no, it's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot. No, I got you. I know. I know that's one of the reasons, dude, where I always wanted to get into content creation, dude, and could never find the time to do it. It's just like, but some people do. I mean, like you're able to upload like all the time and still doing all that too. That's what I'm trying to get my ass in gear and actually do
Yeah,
something
but
this year.
I'm not a good example because I'm like I said, my views are not anywhere near what like content creators go as. Like my job is my job. This is
Yeah,
my fun stuff. This is the stuff I love and have a heart for. So I want to talk about it, even if it's just bullshit coming out my own asshole. But I
yeah.
still love talking about it.
That's what most content is, though, for people. Like, that's what it all starts out as.
Yeah,
Just got a passion for it. You just do it. It's a hobby. And
yeah. All right. Speaking of hobbies, let's get into the topics, the saucy topics of today.
I like sauce.
I like sauce.
I like
Um,
sauce.
so I brought up 2 topics, which is one of the reasons why Sean did not want to be here tonight because he doesn't. I'll tell you his reasoning later. So
He
the
should have
first,
here and said it himself.
yeah, but he didn't want to.
That's what you should have done.
He should have, but he didn't.
You gonna say that to my
Um,
face?
so the first one that I came up with was stories in gaming. Are they important or are they not to you? I know that people are going to have their own way of deciding this. So if you're listening and you want to put in your 2 cents, you can always message me on Twitter or message Waz. I think he has an Instagram, maybe. I don't know.
I have a TikTok, and
TikTok.
unfortunately, I do have a Twitter, but I do not really use it. So
Okay, so yeah,
if you want, you can go to my YouTube channel and send me a message or comment on a video or something.
Yeah,
Or send me a friend request on
comment.
Discord. That's also
Yeah,
an option.
yeah. This video goes up, or well, not video. This the podcast goes up on YouTube. So you can also put it or ask a question on there under Tired Sandwich. I put it up on my channel. Um, and yeah. But so yeah, we'll start with Waz. Waz, stories in games. Does it matter? Does it not matter?
I mean, obviously it depends on the game. I mean, Fortnite doesn't have a story, but it's one of the things for me where I think, and this kind of goes hand in hand with kind of what I don't think this is really a derailment, but it's a lot of people don't view video games as like a genuine medium, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they kind of just like, sweep it under the rug. It's like, oh, it's like books and movies, that's art, but in my opinion, video games are too. And
Yeah.
so telling a story through that medium is just as important. Yes, some games are just that. It's like pulling out a board game and you're just having fun and it's just, to pass the time. But some games genuinely are pieces of art. And it's like, there's certain movies, it's like that with movies too, which is considered a genuine art form. There's movies that you would just turn on in the background and just be like, oh, any high octane action movie isn't something that you're going to like, oh man, where's this character gonna go? Like, how's their story gonna end and stuff? You're just going there to see explosions, people punching each other and fighting, and the action's cool. That's great. That works. It's the same thing with video games. Sometimes you just want to turn your brain off. You want to turn on Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite or something and play it. Like those games don't need stories. It's just PvP. But there's like I played so many horror games like even like Outlast, like the story and like learning about things and actually interacting with the story. It's so much like it's in some ways it can be better than reading a book, because in both of the cases with a movie and reading a book, you're kind of like you are just an audience member, whereas games allow you to go a step further with stories and actually interact with the story yourself. So I think in a lot of ways the stories in video games is even more important than in movies and books, because it allows you to be an active participant in the story rather than just a passive one that's just reading about somebody else's story. You're part of the story, and I think absolutely it's like one of the most important. Like I could not imagine if like video games, I probably wouldn't be a gamer if games didn't have stories in them, truthfully, and interesting
I
characters.
totally get you.
But yeah, that's my take on it, honestly.
All right.
Some similar thoughts to Waz about it. Maybe some different ones. I don't know until I get it out. So I guess games that you come back to where like the story's really good the first time you play it, but then when you go back and replay it, maybe you're not there for the story. Maybe you're there for the gameplay, or you're trying to collect something new, or any reason that you would go back and replay a game. So I think that I think it can be both for any given game. I think you can need the story at some point in it, and then I think at another point you don't really need the story anymore for certain games, unless you're going back to experience that story and you want to make different decisions. But there's also some games that there's a story, but you don't really get to make many decisions. So while the story is needed to play the game, the story isn't, you're not a part of it, So you can play the game and not need the story if you're not really going to be making.
Like your decisions doesn't change it.
Yeah, because it doesn't make a difference what you do. The story is going to be the same anyway.
Yeah.
In which case, you're just there for the ride. And you're just there to see what the developers in the game and the story that was written has to offer. So, I know when I replay games, it's almost never for the story. If I replay a game with the story. And I mean, your shooters don't have stories because they're just looter shooters,
I think I do agree with that, especially because when you said that, like I was thinking Resident Evil Village. I love that game, and I love the story and like the characters and stuff, and kind of what you were doing in that the first playthrough. But then there's like all this other stuff you can do. Like I 100% of the game. I went and played that game. I played that game through probably 8 or 9 times, and
Yeah.
like you're completely right. Like I already knew the story. Second, plays throughs 2 to 8. And I was just going through to just beat the game on like max difficulty and trophy hunt basically.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
yeah, so like yeah, I definitely I agree with that where they can be both. But I think that once again, I think going back to what I said, I think that like that makes in terms of recognizing games as a medium, I think that makes gaming even stronger than movies and books because you can get different value out of it every time you play it. Whereas like you reread a book, it's always the same. You're rereading it for the same reason every time. Probably same with a movie too, you know.
Yeah, that's
And
true. Because you're expecting the same experience, whereas a
yeah,
video game, it could be a different experience.
yep, absolutely. Like I totally agree. Totally agree.
No, you're all wrong.
All right,
You're
Sandwich,
all
then what do you
wrong.
think? What do you think?
You're all wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, tell me how wrong we are. Go on.
You're
Go
so
tell me.
wrong. Don't you know that it's all about
The 2D side
the
scrollers?
2D side scrollers?
Hey, they have stories too, okay?
No, those are good points. I don't think. I think without stories, most like I get it with like let's say Tarkov or Overwatch and stuff, though the stories are not right in the front line of those games, they have stories.
That's how I
So
felt about.
without stories, does like to me at least, it none of it would be without something to put you in like okay, so Tarkov, yeah, you're doing it because you're going to collect gear, you're going to, whatever. But in that game, you were whatever survivor and operative or whatever. That is the story behind it.
Yeah,
You are there for a purpose.
each run you make, you're creating
Yeah,
your character's story
yeah,
until the match is over.
yeah.
Makes sense.
I think to a certain degree too, though, like with like Fortnite and stuff, and they've come out and like player-based matchmaking. This is specifically with PvP games like Tarkov and Fortnite and Call of Duty. I would almost like, not that there isn't kind of like a bare bones story like you were saying, Josh, because I mean, obviously what you just said about like you're there to like for a reason, like that is true. Like I forget in Tarkov, it's like you're investigating like Russian like forces or something like that. It's kind of like the backbone to it. But a lot of like the PvP stuff, I feel that the reason the pull there is like it's not really the story. It's about like they're almost set up to be almost like gambling machines, and like they've had people who like do like run casinos and stuff come and kind of like help them with like the like skill based matchmaking in a lot of cases. And like I know Fortnite developers have acknowledged this, and I think maybe Apex Legends too, where the skill based matchmaking system is set up to where it basically it puts you with really bad people like in one game, so you get that high of winning, and you get like that like just like in gambling, like you win once and you're like I'm just gonna keep winning, and then it puts you in another match with people who are just going to steamroll you and kick your ass. So you keep chasing the high of wanting to win, and same thing with Tarkov. You keep chasing the high of wanting to get out with good loot. And you keep in Fortnite, you keep chasing that high of getting the battle royale, and it becomes more of like they're trying to, rather than it be about like a story and kind of expanding your brain, they're trying to like one plays on addiction, one plays on creativity. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that goes for any entertainment or media
for
that
sure
we could consume, but it is more obvious when it comes to video games. At times.
And developers admit it too, which is like so. It's like they're like,
sure.
yeah, we do that. It's like okay,
yeah, for sure. And it's gone so far. The psychology aspect of that has gone so far that certain food companies sponsor their food for gaming.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know much about that, especially the whole like they
The
put you
Fortnite
in a
stuff?
good yeah, they put you like I don't play those type of games, so
Right.
I don't know much about it. Like I'm gonna play Helldivers and I know Helldivers is supposed to be somewhat of a looter shooter. Supposedly. But
Yeah.
I mean I'm not usually like we played that Dungeon-born game. But like at no point was like, oh man, I need to go in and get more awesome loot and come back. No, it's just fun to bullshit around and be stupid.
Yeah.
So I've never felt that way about a game. I know other people have. I see people all the time who get into like games like Genshin Impact and all those gotcha games that they're like, oh, I need to get this character. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I just need this
I don't know
character.
the pull of that. I do not. Genshin
Yeah.
Impact is one I don't understand at all, but hey, that's fine.
And like recently I played, and I'm not a big phone game person. I actually really dislike phone games. I recently played one of those phone games that you see all the time on
Oh,
like
YouTube ads and
Instagram and
stuff?
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, and
yeah,
YouTube
no,
ads.
I see all of them.
So I played one of those and I played it for like 2 days. And I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun and da da da. But after 2 days I was like, this is just BS. It's just a bunch of hand grab, oh, buy
Yeah.
this character, whatever. I think we totally got off point of stories somehow. I think I did it. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that caused this. But
Well, it's related. It's adjacent. It's
yeah,
we're talking
yeah.
about video gaming as a
But
medium and stuff like
but for
that.
like for stories and stuff, to me at least, I just think they are the most important thing about gaming. I know a lot of people don't do story games, but like there's just something about it, and I I always think about I was a big reader when I was younger, and I loved a good story. I loved following a hero from the beginning to the end, or following a tragedy from beginning to the end. Um, and there's just something about gaming that brings you in, that allows you through their stories to just feel that embrace from media that I feel like we lose as we get older, but we can still feel it through video games.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why story games are so highly anticipated. Like, people look forward to certain updates and other games that come out, but nowhere close to like a second or third game coming out in a series of a story, or a new game coming out that's a brand new story. Those are very highly anticipated and talked about, and there's trailers for them.
Yeah.
So people definitely really do love the stories
Yeah.
in games.
Yeah, some people don't think that they need to be there. Like, perfect example, I'll talk about it right now. Sean, he doesn't care about stories. He doesn't read the books. He doesn't listen to the story. He literally just goes through the game, and most of the games he plays are looter type games. So he just goes through and he shoots stuff and just gets through the game. I don't understand that. But to him, it's making his own adventure. So there goes my part two of this question. Do you like adventure games where you make your own adventure more, or do you want to follow somebody else's adventure?
I hate to be like kind of straddle the line, but I kind of both, because I don't like, because for example, I can't remember what I think it's like I played a game
No
and
balls.
it's been a while ago that was called
No balls.
Oh, I'm gonna show you some balls. You just give me a second, all right? I'm gonna show you all the balls. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I think it was called. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it or ever played it, but it's called Everyone Has Gone to the Rapture. Okay,
I
and
think I've heard that name before.
it's there are a couple, and this is my least favorite type of video game, or type of variety of game. Even though there is a really in-depth story, it is a walking simulator. There is very, very little gameplay. So you're just walking from basically one place to another, and when you go to places, you have these flashbacks that reveal more about the story.
Yeah.
And the story was interesting. The gameplay was boring because it's a walking simulator. And I hated that because I'm like, listen, if you're going to just tell the story this way, why is it a game in the first place? Okay? Write a book if you just want, if there's no gameplay. So kind of going back to your first question, when I said I'm straddling the line, I don't want to be railroaded into basically just experiencing the story in that fashion. Because if you do that too much, it becomes like there's no reason for it to be a video game. Because
there's no value in...
See, and I'm the exact opposite of both of you. I just played a game called Florence where there is no real gameplay in it. You were literally like brushing her teeth and doing like
then make a movie or write a book. Like,
no,
why?
Dude, it was such a good story and there's no dialogue. There's no dialogue in it at all. And it was so good. It was
I'm not saying that I couldn't get into like the example I gave with the Rapture. That was, like I said, I actually liked the story in that game. I was like, dude, this is actually kind of cool. You're in an empty town. You're walking through. Everybody's gone. You don't know why, and you're learning about like people in the town through flashbacks as you walk to certain places, and you've got to find like all of like the memory. Like it's kind of like that's like what the gameplay loop is.
But you would rather watched it or read it.
It would have been more interesting as a movie because you're already kind of, other than me just moving my analog stick to move places, it's just like I'm kind of going to the passive versus active. It's like I was just there and the story was just happening. It's like you could have told the same story just as well in a movie format or a book. Like it didn't need to be a video game. And maybe that was it was easier for them. Sometimes I feel like somebody has a story to tell and it's easier for them to make a video game maybe because of their skills than it is to write a book. So that's what they do. And I get that. But I just think in that case it would have been better. So like I said, going back to your earlier question, when I kind of straddled the line, I like the story. I think story is extremely important in games. I love it too, Josh, like you do. But I also want there to be like a gameplay loop of some kind that is also intriguing. That's why it is a video game. You know, it's not a video story; it's a video game. Let me game a little bit.
Yeah, you want there to be a reason why you need a controller. Why
what about visual novels?
I've
Those
tried
are
visual
video games.
Yeah, but they're not they're called visual novels though.
Yeah, but they're not still video games.
They're technically, but they don't. Nobody's like, "What video game did you play?" And then you're like, every time you talk about a visual novel, everyone always clarifies that it is a visual novel. You're not like I played. Okay, you can say it's semantics if you want, but that is true. And that's because it is more novel than game. And that's why it's called a visual novel.
Yeah, but people consider Persona a visual novel. And
yeah, but there's gameplay.
Playing it.
But there's a battle system. You fight people and stuff. In a visual novel, you just hit enter to go through dialogue. And sometimes select dialogue.
No, Wes.
No, I'm right. I'm fucking right, dude.
I know. Also,
I'm just kidding.
Also, before we continue on with this, Adam didn't come tonight because he wasn't feeling well. Not because he was going to play more Escape from Tarkov. That motherfucker's playing Escape from Tarkov right now with Silver.
No, he's 100%. Did he tell you he wasn't feeling well?
Yeah,
I was like, that motherfucker feels.
He said he had a headache. He said he had a headache, and I see his ass playing Escape from Tarkov. So I text him. So I text him like, Escapes from Tarkov, huh?
You should ask him how his headache is.
Yeah. Now he's got a clean bill of health, dude. I could have told you that. He just didn't want to do the podcast tonight, 100%. Like,
yeah,
I've known that for 20 years, dude. I know his slippery ways.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. Anybody who's listening to this, we're totally just giving him a hard time.
Oh
this
yeah, I hope he sees it.
Podcast. So
I'm gonna send him just this clip.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he listens to this part specifically, so he knows that we called him a jackass for not.
I'll make sure he does. Like even if he doesn't listen to any other part, I'll be like, go listen to that right now. You'll know. Yeah, just for you, baby.
So I mean, stories in gaming. It seems like we all kind of have our own views about it, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about this to see, and they're all valid. Like everybody's views on this so far, they're valid.
Except for Josh's. Visual novels and visual stories. That's not true.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But
all you anime lovers, remember that Wyatt said he disagrees with visual novels. And
hey, no. I didn't say they're not worthwhile. I just said I don't view them as video games.
He said you're not real gamers.
I didn't say
visual novel lovers. He just bring it to his TikTok about how
No.
much he is right that you guys are not true gamers.
But I think there's a difference with you, Josh. Your love for visual novels comes from your love of audiobooks. You didn't get into gaming and then get into visual novels because you like gaming. You got into visual novels because you like reading and you like audiobooks and you're like, oh, try this out.
actually
That's interesting.
I actually got into video games because I like novels.
Okay, well,
and it's an easier way. And to me, following a great story is like following it. Like I've had so many times where I've played a game, and like it either broke me or just made me super happy. Persona 5, I didn't get in that till like, I know it didn't come out too long ago, but I never played a Persona game. And that was like the first one I played. And it was so beautiful, the entire thing. I was so happy to play it. Near Automata, I had a point in that game where I had to walk out of my house because I was crying so hard from one of the character moments that I just couldn't even be in my own house. Like the stories in these games that people make are just amazing sometimes. But I get it that not everybody wants that, and not everybody wants to sit through 7 hours of dialogue from a freaking game. Like I get it.
I think it
And
depends.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
I think it depends on the kind of story that you like too. Like if you don't mind a good sad story, then you're gonna like a game that's got a good sad story.
Yeah.
But if you're like me and I'm a big action person, I really only play story games that have a lot of action. I really don't play stories that are much more chill that don't have a lot of gameplay.
Yeah, but even then there's games that have a lot of action and have story too. BioShock,
True.
Wolfenstein.
BioShock Infinite is awesome.
It's yeah.
A lot of people hate it. A lot of people don't like Infinite.
I don't hate it. I don't hate Infinite, but it did throw me off guard with how hardcore they went into the like hating on other races thing. That caught me off guard.
I mean, I guess it makes sense for the time period, but it's like, it could have been. It didn't need to be there.
No, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to get into that.
We won't get into that. It did not need. But it was one of my favorite games of all time. I know that's my second hot take tonight. Okay, guys, but that is I did really like. That was probably my favorite BioShock game.
Visual novelists aren't gamers, and
that's right.
Hates everybody.
That's right. I have no love in my heart for a single person on this planet. I just want everyone to know that, and now we're clear. So there we go.
No, but totally like. Oh my gosh, I just totally lost what I was gonna say.
Oh, dude, I hate when that happens, bro. Mid sentence.
Were we talking about stories, or were we talking about? Yeah, we were still talking about stories. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of stories out there, and like, I get it. Some people are like Bran, where they like story, but they want action, like Transformers and stuff like that.
I just don't like sad stories.
Yeah,
because I already live a life.
Yeah,
this is my escapism. Don't be bringing the reality into it, please.
And so I don't want like to sit and play through hours, or I don't even really like sad movies because I already gotta fix, my own stuff. I don't want to hear about somebody else's problems. I don't want to go through your problems just because it's a good story,
I think it works. I think for me, I think it depends, and I definitely respect that opinion because like a lot of people are like that because it's like it's escapism, and you play games for the reasons that you want to, and if like something's going on with your life, you don't want to sit down and watch a character just take every hit that life is throwing at them, and it's like that's hitting a little too close to home right now. I don't want to be seeing that on screen.
That's exactly what I want to do.
But here's the thing. Sometimes I do enjoy sad stories too. Sometimes I don't like go out like looking and being like I really want to find something that's going to make me cry right now, but sometimes it works and it makes sense in the context of the story. And for me, if it makes sense and the story is enticing and it makes sense in the greater context of what's going on, like I am always the type of person that's like, whatever is best for the story and the character development is what I want to happen. I don't want I don't want fan service in it where they're just doing this because all the fans were like, "Well, I think him and her should make out and fucking shit." It's like it doesn't make sense in context of the story, or does it not? If it doesn't, then don't do it just because the fans want it. Make your story.
That was my love-hate relationship with the endings of Baldur's Gate 3 when it first came out, because the endings were so sad and so awful. I felt like all of these characters that you took care of and went on this journey at the end, there weren't like
you couldn't save any of them.
You couldn't save any of them. There weren't really actually any happy endings.
Yeah, but now there is.
I understood that to the story,
thankfully,
that's how it needed to be.
Yeah.
And then, so that was my love-hate.
And then
with
they
Baldur's
fixed it
Gate at the beginning. Was I couldn't believe that every single character's ending had to be with them losing something, or a part of themselves, or someone they love, you know?
Or in my case, just ending your life altogether.
Well, I tell you what, like, with Baldur's Gate, though, it does make sense that they went back and amended it, because Baldur's Gate is such a choice-driven story where the story is completely different based upon the choices you make. Not a lot of games are like that. And the fact that they gave you different endings based on choices for every character makes a lot of sense, because your story could be completely different. There's ways you can save these characters now. And I still have not beat the whole game yet.
Me either.
So I don't know all the endings, but I did get Karlach's original ending spoiled for me and leaked, and I was just like, that fucking sucks. I don't even want to romance that character now, because I'm just going to be depressed by the end of the story.
I mean, I know they fixed it, but at the beginning, my initial feeling was I was hoping for some sort of triumph to come out of.
to
come out of the adventure that everybody went on, and I felt like there wasn't any triumph. There wasn't, like, even in the original, before they added new endings, the bad guys technically didn't even win in that game either. Like, everybody just got
We're all losers. We're all equally losers.
So I was like, you're telling me there's not even like a chance of a hellscape or like anything no, it just everybody got shit on. And I was like, man, it was rough. It was rough until they added
I don't know, I beat
the new endings.
I beat it twice and I was fine with both my endings.
Do like some of the sad endings that Baldur's Gate 3 had, because I know about all the endings even though I haven't beaten it, but I've watched all of them and everything.
Any word on whether? So I'm trying right now, and this is the save that I plan to actually beat the game on. But my single player, I'm actually trying Dark Urge, but I want to be a good Dark Urge and like resist the urge the entire time. So I'm curious to see how well that's gonna end, because it's already like already odds are pretty stacked against you from day one going the Dark Urge route. But I didn't want to do an evil playthrough. I don't have the heart to do an evil playthrough. I could even an Undertale, dude. Like when there's the genocide run in Undertale, I have like 30 hours in that game and I've never done a genocide run. I can't. It hurts my heart. I can't do it. So
I played a little bit of an evil campaign with some of my friends, and it was difficult, but personally, I won't talk about any of the stuff that happened, but it felt like part of the story, like literally half of the story was missing, because I had played it as a good guy so many times and gotten so far that when I played it as the Dark Urge, I was like, man, we're just running through, taking people out left and right, and like we're almost done, and like there's no story that's happened because of that, you know?
And I'm sure there's some fun aspects of doing an evil playthrough that's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But for me, I've just, in most games, if you can go like a bad route, I've always just found that usually, I mean, it's a bad route, so the bad usually outweighs the good. Usually most people who seem to do it, they're just doing it for like content to like upload, like, oh, this is something that can happen if you go down this route or whatever. And it's like, I'm cool with just watching it on YouTube. I don't need to see it, you know? And it's like, I just like, I know they're just video game characters and they're not real, but it's like, they're real to me.
Yeah.
So, I have a really rough time doing it. I know you said you kind of did too, Josh. You're like, I can't do an evil playthrough. Like, I'm not going to do it.
So
I have
when
a hard time too.
So when I was still streaming, my community made me do Fable, but an evil playthrough, and it was super difficult for me. But I did it. I got all the way through.
That's rough.
I think if people are gonna do that, evil playthroughs on games, you gotta do it first. Run through it, get it out of the way.
Because then don't get the connection to the characters yet. It's before you even learn about them, just fuck them over and then come back. Yeah, that's probably the smartest.
Get a little bit of experience so you know maybe what spells or what inventory items or whatever the game requires. You have an idea of how to play already after your evil playthrough, but do that first and then go be happy.
Yeah. That's honestly a pretty good strategy to do that But I probably never will. I just, like I said, even if there's a trophy tied to it or something, I'm just like, nah, I don't need the trophy. Yeah. I'm good.
However, every once in a while, you'll get a video game where you can play through as a bad guy, and it feels so good to rip through the annoying characters or the people you didn't like in the good playthrough that were just awful, that were actually the villains.
It's like you want to punch him in the face, but you can't. It's like, I'm a good guy. I can't do that.
Yeah. And you can, and that is a benefit.
Yep.
Well, who's that? Going back to
in the face, stab someone with a screwdriver. I mean,
oh no,
just kidding.
No,
just kidding. We're not gonna bring that up.
Yeah, that's
we're not giving that game any fame.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
All I'll say is we were all scarred for life before this, and that's all you're getting.
Yeah, pretty much. The game who must not be named.
Yeah, the game who shall not be named.
Yeah, no. Yeah, all your guys' points are very valid.
Another question do you have for us?
That's, I think, it for tonight. I mean, we're at 47 minutes right now. We wanted to do a shorter pod tonight. So since we're not all here, so I might just save the second question for later.
There was a second question?
There was a second question, and here.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, go ahead and ask it, and then we can stew on it a little bit.
No, and here Waz, I'll tell you after the podcast.
And
here Waz is like, it's gonna be short. It's only gonna be like 30 minutes long.
I didn't say 30 minutes. I said, hey, okay, we're podcasting, all right. We're jumping on. This is a pod. We just talk about anything and everything.
Conversations.
Yeah. It's natural. It's getting more natural every time we do it, I feel like.
Yeah. So that's our opinion on the question I asked, which right now my brain's so muddled, I don't even remember the question I asked.
Oh, the importance of stories.
Yeah, the importance of stories. There you go.
We kind of did derail a little bit there at the end.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, we kind of went down the evil playthrough route there.
Evil playthrough. That's going to be the name of the pod tonight. Evil playthrough.
The evil playthrough.
That's the type of stuff you have to know about stories.
True. It's adjacent. Once again, it's topic adjacent. We're good. We were in the area of what we were talking about.
Good stories are just as good as hellscapes. If I'm being honest.
True.
Okay, so I only have a couple news things tonight. I get most of my news from Kotaku, and I listen to Jeff Gersman's podcast, and I listen to a couple other podcasts to get my stuff from there too. But the big thing this week has been, the Microsoft. Are they jumping ship? Are they not going to make consoles anymore? Are they, leaving the console game and just going to become a third-party provider?
Is that still up in the air? Because I know we talked about that.
That was never up in the air. They make like $200 billion a year from console gaming. They're not.
Yeah, I know they lose.
This last year, I think, or the year before, literally Microsoft's gaming unit became more profitable than Microsoft.
No, I didn't.
So
I thought they lost money on all their consoles.
no,
That's what I
no,
heard.
they
Okay, well,
they just became a $3 trillion company because of their gaming thing from buying that acquisition or the acquisition. They're
as
now a
Ubisoft
3
CEO would say, that's
trillion.
quadruple A. That's quadruple A
Yeah.
right there at that point.
So, but there was a big story about are some of these games like Star
Starfield?
Starfield and Indiana Jones going to
PlayStation?
Switch and PlayStation? The answer is no, they're
Oh.
not. But 4 games are going to be coming to other platforms. More than likely, it's going to be Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment, and then later on, what is it? The Sea of Thieves, and then probably Grounded will be coming to other platforms.
Sea of Thieves will be nice because
Yeah.
that'll probably reinvigorate the player base. Not that the player base
Yeah.
is gone,
I mean,
but
It seems like the theme of those games is survival.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, Jeff Gersman said it best, where they're probably gonna bring just a little bit in to kind of test the water, see if it makes them money, because console gamers a lot of times will buy the game right out. So like, let's say Hi-Fi Rush is $40 or $30 on PS5, they get like 30% of that value. They're making still money for you buying an Xbox game. So they're probably just putting out a couple to test the waters and see what they're going to do from there. The other news item is Diablo 4 will be the first Activision Blizzard title on Game Pass. So it is coming to Game Pass. I never played Diablo 4.
It's not good. It's probably they're probably only doing that because like the player base is dead. Like all of the people are pissed, and they just released like $75 horse armor recently.
Yeah.
People are just so mad at it at this point. It's probably just the last ditch effort to get players to come and play the game again because people are done with it. Like, and I didn't hate it. Like, I put a lot of hours into it. Me and Adam leveled up to max level in the first 2 weeks after it came out, and it was fun enough. But it's just a shame. And Blizzard's got so much controversy going on right now too. It's like everybody hates fucking Blizzard now. It's just
yeah, kind of. But Blizzard now isn't Blizzard; it's Microsoft. So we'll see. From what I've heard, a lot of people inside the company of Blizzard and Activision are very happy about Microsoft taking over. But then the layoffs happened, so I don't know how happy they are now.
Well, I mean, that should have been expected, to be honest. It's like,
well, yeah, because
mergers like that always have that. That always happens.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what it does with Game Pass. I have a feeling that Diablo 4 is going to blow up again this year because
it probably will.
There are
which is what they want.
Never, like, perfect example, myself, I did not want to play Diablo 4 because I don't like the Blizzard downloader, and I didn't want to get it. I did not want to download it. I don't want to.
Fair.
Like, I don't like their downloader on my computer because it brings a bunch of, like, I would always find other stuff than just their downloader from Blizzard, and I don't want it. So,
Well,
if you decide to play it, me and Adam
all
have
those-
it. So
those terms and conditions that got downloaded.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll jump back into it with you.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not like the biggest Diablo fan, but I
love Diablo 3.
I know Sean loved it, and him and our buddy Bono, they played it. So
it's a looter dungeon crawler. That's really what it is. The story, it's something that there is a story, but it's like it's bare bones, and it's not. Diablo has never been about the story. It's about getting as good of loot as you can. Like, the loot is the main pull, and going through dungeons and just obliterating enemies. That's the main pull. So very action oriented, and then the story is there. It has one. It's not like Apex or something.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff I saw for it, like video wise, looks really cool.
Yeah. The Druid class is cool. I will say that. They brought that back in Diablo 4 after being absent in Diablo 3, and that's what I was. And it's actually really cool because you can either do like the the bear route, and I think there's a werewolf one, and then there's a third one too, and I can't remember what it is. I think it's like elemental or something like that. But it's so there's cool. It's not a complete waste, but
No.
it is definitely it's a disappointment to longtime fans, and that's a pretty big problem when you're you want your fan base to like your game.
Yeah, personally, I don't even think Xbox decision is Blizzard. I think they did it because Xbox wants more people on Game Pass. And if you bring a title like that on Game Pass, then there's going to be people who are going to download it. Like, because I have both. I have the PC version of Game Pass and the console version because I have an Xbox Series X and a PC. So I can play on either. And to me, that's really cool. So, like, if I wanted to play Diablo with someone who only has an Xbox, I could do that. Or I could play on PC with you guys.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Game Pass is honestly really, really cool. And for the price that you get and what you can do with it, it's pretty incredible. Like, there's games that I've wanted and was able to get for free and stuff through it. It's 100% worth it. And like honestly, I think that's one of Sony's biggest problems. Sony needs to have some sort of alternative to Game Pass, and they just never have come up with it. They've tried on PlayStation 5. They're doing this thing now where you get one free PlayStation 4 game and one free PlayStation 5 game like every month, but it's just not anywhere near one party.
I have the PlayStation Extra.
Yeah.
And it's more than just one game. You get a bunch of games that you can play through their thing, but they don't have none of the new games are on there. Usually the exclusives they put on there from like either last year or like a couple months ago. But I mean, it seems all right so far.
Premium allows you to stream games now too, I think, where you can stream them rather than download them to your system, which I've never been super like the whole like Google Stadia thing. I've never been crazy about cloud gaming like that. I mean, I get why it exists, but like your internet needs to be Jesus for that to work. Pretty much.
That's the future.
I mean, it probably is. It probably legitimately is because, I mean, Ubisoft CEO, he's out here. It's like people need to get used to not owning their games. It's like you can't get less ownership. You're just paying for a license at that. I mean, we had this conversation last week too, but it's like if you don't even have it on your system at that point. It's existing in the cloud like Netflix, and you're just playing it. It's like you do not own your games at that point. Like you better pray that the cloud stays up.
The rights to use the property.
Man, Netflix put Blockbuster and stuff out of business, so maybe this is what puts physical gaming out of business.
I mean, I believe physical gaming is going to die eventually. It's just I think it's inevitable. When eventually, because especially like Gen Alpha and stuff. I'm sure Gen Alpha doesn't give a shit. That's like usually when you hear stuff like this comes up about physical media, it's coming from like older. It's coming from like millennials and like
boomer.
I'm barely a millennial. I'm almost Gen Z. Okay, I'm like on the line.
No, I know. I am the millennial here.
Yeah,
I'm Gen Z.
Yeah, Brand's Gen Z.
I'm a millennial, but barely.
I like collecting physical things.
Me too.
I don't mind having like my Steam games and stuff online.
Yeah.
But
I
mean, one of the reasons why I do like to collect like physical games is because I know one day they won't exist, and
they'll be worth a lot.
Have one.
I mean, and they'll probably be worth a lot too. Like if you collect and keep them in good condition, like 20, 30 years from now, it's like there's a good chance they could be, there's like old N64 games that are going for several $100s now just to get them. So it's gonna be really weird when the stuff we're using now becomes vintage, basically. And
yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with physical media going obsolete. I think we'll all be fine. We'll make it.
We will. I don't think it's gonna. The world's not gonna end.
I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. I think we'll see. I think we'll see another Xbox. Xbox V/250 box and probably a PlayStation 6, and then maybe after that we'll see more diminish of
it's gonna happen, It's just the question of which company.
Yeah, which one does it
is gonna
first?
make it, you know?
Yeah,
Which company is going to make that transition?
Who are we gonna fight for in console wars or in the corpo wars?
Oh, I don't know. Probably neither. They both suck. But I hate all of them. Remember, I don't love anybody on this planet. We had this conversation earlier.
But yeah, so that's the news I got. I think that's a good podcast. We did go on the evil playthrough route for this one.
But
we did.
The good thing is, sorry, I'm going to continue.
Okay.
No, that's good. No, keep continuing. Let's go.
The good thing is, usually when there's advancements in tech or whatever, it don't happen in America first. We have countries like Japan and China and lots of other places where we tend to see these advancements first, and then eventually they trickle over to Europe and to the rest of the West here in America. So we'll probably see news articles and see things and streams and people showing, oh my gosh, look at what Japan has done. Look at what this other country has done with their media. It's no longer physical. And then eventually we'll adapt it as we do everything else.
I totally agree with that, especially because, especially in terms of video gaming, advancements in video games specifically. Yeah. Of the three big ones, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, two of them I'm pretty sure are Japanese owned. So Sony and Nintendo are Japanese owned. So it's pretty, you got a 2/3 chance there if it comes from one of the titans that, it's going to be Japanese based
and before. The good thing, they'll have tested it and they'll have figured out all the bugs and whatever when they release it over there first. So by the time we get it, it should be a little bit more understandable and usable and user-friendly.
Yeah.
I think we're going Ready Player One route eventually. Okay, I think VR, dude. I think VR, man. Let's go VR, baby. Let's go, dude. Imagine being in Baldur's Gate 3. Imagine being in Baldur's Gate 3.
VR had its chance. It fucked up. It's
it's amazing. It's the best.
No, dude. VR had its day.
That only happened to VR because it's not available. It's not readily available to every gamer.
It's kind of expensive too.
It's pretty available nowadays. It's
$1,000 for the Steam one. Most people aren't going to shell that out.
There's ones that are cheaper, and
the Facebook ones are. They're like $400 to $500.
No, VR is just not good, guys. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's okay, Mister. I don't like VR, man.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just like how smartphones and computers and TVs used to be these big old ugly boxes that people back in the day used to complain about. Look what it's doing to society, blah, blah, blah. Now look at it. It's fantastic. We can stream on it. We can hook our phones up to it. It's great. You just got to give it a little bit of time.
Yeah, but I don't think VR is ever going to be the thing. It's going to be AR. AR is likely to become the thing. VR is not.
What's AR?
AR is
augmented reality.
Augmented reality, not virtual or VR doesn't work because there's too many people that have kids and are doing things that they can't put a freaking headset on and all that and have no idea of what's going on around them. That just doesn't work for most
people. Well, augmented reality is an extension. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Apple Pro's picking up steam, but all that stuff doesn't matter because with VR and AR, it's one day, it has to get to a certain point, and I don't think we're at that point. Maybe we are now.
It has to be less restrictive. Well, I agree. It needs to be less restrictive because I think that's the biggest problem with it. It's because there are things because it is kind of to really put yourself in the game and actually be able to walk and then you walk in the game. There's things out there for that now, but they're super expensive still in addition to the headset
all the accessories.
Yeah, so I think if they can get it to a point, which honestly I agree with the augmented reality will probably be the thing, but I kind of view augmented reality VR is the stepping stone to augmented reality.
Yeah, but you have to remember too that in Ready Player One, he didn't have a thing to walk on.
Yeah.
The first time when he was doing it, he was sitting in a chair in a van.
True.
Like in the movie, it says that he had, but in the books, he didn't have that stuff. He
The
didn't have that
future-
until he made it big.
Your brain gets actually uploaded into the virtual space,
Oh
and
my
you walk
gosh!
around.
What are
Now
we,
that,
Sword Art Online
there we
now?
go, dude. Yeah, baby. I hate that anime. Hot take number 3. Hot take number 3. Here we go. Fuck that. Fuck Sword Art Online. I'm just gonna make it.
Okay.
Everybody's gonna hate me. Everyone
Yeah,
hates me.
pretty much.
It's
Pretty
okay.
much.
I never got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was not a fan of Sword
So
Art.
let's go over this. Waz hates visual novelist and
Don't
that
know.
they-
It's
and that
okay.
they're not real gamers.
It's-
He hates all people and Sword Art Online lovers. He says fuck your face.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I mean-
no,
Well,
his hot take number 2 was about a game, but I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what the hate all people was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have to go back in the video and see. I probably had more than those, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was Sword Art Online. Not a fan. Hey, for the record, I'm not saying visual novels are bad. They can be interesting. You like. Hey, I can do a visual novel because I read a book. No, I'm not. I'm not taking it back. I'm not taking it back. I'm just
You
saying
said they're not real gamers.
No, okay, I didn't say that. I just said a visual novel is a visual novel, not a visual game. There's a reason
Okay,
they
yeah.
don't call it that. Okay, I'm just saying
It's
the proof is in the pudding. Okay,
it's a
right
visual
there.
novel.
I do
not
love
a game.
pudding.
Pudding's
I do
delicious.
love pudding.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
I think
Okay.
I'm winning them back over because I know they like pudding too. So
I think we're done.
You've had enough of us.
I think that the pudding was
Filling?
it's a perfect cutoff right there, just
Yeah.
like the pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh is like,
Go
cut that
ahead.
part out.
Go ahead, everybody say goodnight.
All right.
All
Good
right,
night.
night everybody. See you next week.
Yep.
See you
Uh,
for D&D on
Oh
Saturday.
yeah, true.
No,
D&D.
that's not recorded.
Oh,
Well, it
it's
could
not
be.
recorded.
It might be.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm
Well,
gonna see Waz and Sandwich for D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll
we'll
see y'all.
we'll talk about it on the next podcast though.
We did
so don't worry
talk.
about
We
it.
did talk about it.
Yeah,
In the last
yep.
podcast.
Yeah, last one. We didn't talk about this one. So yeah, everybody. Waz told you can find him at TikTok. You can send actually, you can just send it to me. Anything that you want to say to Waz, you send it
Oh,
to
hate
me
mail. Go
at
straight to
Tired
Josh.
Sandwich on Twitter. Go ahead and send it to me, and I will send him copies of it to his house.
You can't find me. Sorry.
Yeah.
The FBI
Oh, and sneak
has
peek.
tried.
Sneak
Oh my
peek?
gosh, she does not mean that. Don't say that out loud. Why did you say that?
I already know where you are. Okay.
Yeah.
man.
Why is that
So-
so,
Yeah, I know where you are.
So,
It's like, but dude, we are gonna try and get the podcast potentially on Spotify or Apple Music.
No, it's on Spotify. We need to get it on Apple.
yeah.
Okay, you need to get it on
Adam
Apple.
Said that he knew how to do that.
No,
Okay.
Adam said he was going to look at it.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I know how to do it. I think because I've done stuff for Spotify before, but I'm pretty sure it's a very similar process to Apple. So we'll see. So hopefully
No,
that'll be coming up.
Spotify, I only had to press a button that said put it on there, and they were like, okay. Apple's like, okay, you need to twist and do a circle and then triangle and then square. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why can't I just press a button and it just goes on there, dude? Like, why do you gotta give me a hard time? But yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll be on Apple eventually. Thank you guys for listening. If you stayed till the end of this and all our craziness, you can find me at YouTube and Twitter on Tired Sandwich. Hope you guys all have a good night. And as usual from Sean, he would say, subscribe, like, and fuck off.
His location is also undisclosed.
Yep.
I'll find
you guys can't find him.
I'll find him. Don't you worry.
All right. 3, 2, 1, end.